So in one of my latest videos, the toxic things I hate about the art community, one of the notes I mentioned was how drawing pretty girls can eventually become a crutch or a comfort zone that some artists may overly rely on, especially for those who are trying to gain a career in the art industries. It could possibly limit them from landing on those goals if drawing pretty girls becomes this habit of theirs that is hard to get over. So I wanted to further broaden and talk about that topic, since there's only so much time to talk about certain topics in a YouTube video, but I wanted to give a more nuanced perspective on it, even though in my previous video I did say that this is specifically for artists who are trying to get jobs in the art industries and trying to grow, but I guess some people just missed the point. So in today's video, I'd like to further talk about this topic, since I guess a lot of people are really interested and passionate about it, and I'm here to provide a more nuanced gray area approach, because at the end of the day, I don't think that drawing pretty girls is inherently a bad or a good thing. I just think that there are pros and cons, just like anything else in the world, and that's why I'm here to break it down. So just for a reference, when I'm talking about drawing pretty girls, what I'm referring to in general is the stereotypical look that you might see in a lot of digital art or concept art paintings, where it's a girl with a doe-like face, she has beautiful eyes and beautiful long flowing hair, probably a colored hairstyle, and it is usually in an anime or game-like illustration style. And again, if this is one of your favorite styles to draw in, there's nothing wrong with that, but I do think it's important to mention the pros and cons, especially if you as the viewer are an aspiring artist who is thinking about having a career in animation, illustration, gaming. So some of the pros are you can get a lot of satisfaction in drawing something beautiful, you can learn the basics of drawing a human face/body, you can explore makeup and fashion techniques and choices, and you can even grow an appreciation for femininity. And if you have a strong social media presence, you can probably develop it into a brand like some artists out there do. However, the truth is not everybody is going to make it on social media as an artist who only draws pretty girls. The truth is that there will probably be a good number of people who don't succeed in that career path, and it is important to consider other options. Maybe you even grow an interest in pursuing a different path, but your current skill levels are limiting you from getting to that area. So it may be important to learn how to broaden your horizons, go out of your comfort zone, and maybe even think about how some of the things you are currently doing with your art from drawing pretty girls may not be the most beneficial to your overall growth as an artist. So let me clarify just once again before I move into this section, is that there's nothing inherently wrong with just drawing pretty girls if that's what you like doing. However, it's important to consider the limitations of doing this as your only thing if you are really serious about pursuing an art career beyond just the world of drawing pretty girls, like developing a graphic novel, becoming a storyboard artist, becoming a layout artist, or 3D animator. There's a lot more layers to becoming an artist that will eventually have to branch out of drawing pretty girls as your only style. So one of the ugly truths about drawing pretty girls is that it's unfortunately going to narrow down your job opportunities. When you limit yourself to drawing only one type of subject, such as stereotypically beautiful women, you inadvertently limit your job opportunities as artists, because many clients and industries nowadays especially are seeking diverse representation in their art. By broadening your skills to include drawing people of all ages, sizes, backgrounds, you will actually open yourself to a wider range of artistic opportunities. Because if you think about it, a lot of book publishers, game developers, and movie studios require artists who can depict characters from various walks of life, and by showcasing a more versatile, diverse portfolio, you can become more attractive to potential studios or clients. So again, I'm not saying that drawing pretty girls will totally eliminate the possibilities of landing on jobs. It just seems like there's only a very specific niche that currently monetizes that type of art style, which is, again, if you make it big on social media and do your own thing. And maybe there are even some game studios who require that type of art style for their concept art, and that's great. However, it's important to know that in the art industries, job availabilities in themselves are already very limited. So if you only limit yourself to this specific style only, it is only going to to limit you further. And it's not only just drawing pretty girls, it's like if you only draw this one thing of anything, it will in general limit you, but I am talking about just the concept of pretty girls for today's video. So the other ugly truth about drawing pretty girls is that it can prevent you from developing a more well-rounded skill set as an artist. So drawing pretty girls, as I've mentioned previously, is not bad if it becomes your comfort zone. You just know what to draw now when you want to rely on your comfort zone. However, I will also say that as artists, you should strive to challenge yourself. So imagine being able to capture the innocence of a child's face, or the wisdom of an elder, or the unique features that make someone individually beautiful in their own way. So the ability to draw a multitude of these things not only broadens your artistic horizons, but it also enriches your understanding of human anatomy, expressions, gestures, and nuances. So again, like I said, if it's the end of the day for you and you just cannot get yourself to draw anything else, but you really want to draw some pretty girls in your sketchbook, go for it. But there's going to be times in your life where you might have to be hardcore trying to improve in a crunch time period for a portfolio or for a job application. And during that time period, if you really want to have an expedited improvement in your art skills, it might be a good idea to just draw things from all walks of life. So moving on to my next point, which I have dealt with myself as a former only drawing pretty girls artist, is that drawing pretty girls can also limit your understanding of human anatomy and proportions. So when you only draw pretty girls, your understanding of anatomy may be a little bit more limited because everybody, again, has unique features and body types that challenge you to observe and capture accurately, which is why figure drawing, gesture drawing classes exist. So if you were to expand your ability to draw people of all ages, sizes, and backgrounds, you're going to expose yourself to a wider range of anatomical variations that you will have to force yourself to draw. But again, if you want to be able to create more believable characters, whether if it's for storytelling or even from a technical approach, it's important to be able to draw people of all different sizes, angles, and positions. And if you need some help with that, I'd like to thank the sponsor of today's video, Just Sketch Me. So for those of you who don't know, Just Sketch Me is a pose reference tool that you can use to create any scene as a reference for when you create art. So if you feel like you don't know how to draw a certain set of characters or in this angle and how to pose them out, Just Sketch Me is a great way to have digital art dummies and have them in a scene, and you can rotate them in different angles or camera positions to see how you might want to lay out your next drawing. There are also over 200 pre-built poses that you can use, as well as many props and background elements that you can create a scene with to use for your future drawings. So Just Sketch Me is available for free with no time limit. The first 100 people to use my code MEWTRIPLED to sign up to Just Sketch Me Pro will get 20% off. And thank you again to Just Sketch Me for sponsoring today's video. Then the next ugly truth about drawing pretty girls is that it can prevent you from connecting to a more diverse audience. So obviously, art is a very powerful medium because it reflects the world around us and it allows you to celebrate diversity, challenge stereotypes, and amplify underrepresented voices. So by embracing a wider range of subjects in your art, you can contribute to a more inclusive community. And our society is diverse. We have people of all ages, sizes, backgrounds, and by learning to draw this, you bring forth a sense of authenticity and relatability to your art. And by diversifying your subject matters that you draw, you can reach a wider range of individuals who resonate with different narratives, experiences, art styles. Why do you think that there are certain films, books, games that you might particularly like more than others? So you ultimately give a voice to those who often go unnoticed or misrepresented in the mainstream media, and the ability to connect with a broader audience can pave the way for a more successful art career. And this is just very important in this day and age where a lot of artists are just going on their own and pursuing their own businesses, their own ventures, because there's a lot of instability sometimes when it comes to things like a recession or the strikes happening. And with that, you may need to develop your own audience or your own social media platform if that is something of your interest. So of course there's a specific niche already that exists out there for artists who only draw pretty girls and have a huge social media following and a great big audience for that. However, if there are already a lot of artists out there doing that sort of thing, you're gonna have to think what is gonna set you apart from artists who are already doing that. So then this next ugly truth, I have a more complex view on it, so let me just get down to what I think first, which is I feel that sometimes drawing pretty girls can further amplify or push beauty standards. So when you fall into the habit of only drawing pretty girls, you might perpetuate stereotypes and reinforce societal beauty standards, because the truth is that people who look at your work will probably ultimately look back on themselves, especially when it comes to Disney films or even game illustrations. It feels like the people that they only draw are people who are on a goddess-like level of beauty or have features that are almost impossible to replicate on an actual human, which again, this is when it gets a little bit more complicated. I understand that as an artist, sometimes exaggerations are made to character designs to just push the characters and remind people that they are indeed a cartoon. And I do think that we as humans should also remember that when we watch these things, we should not be comparing ourselves to these characters that do not exist. So I also believe that I don't think animation or cartoons should replicate reality entirely. Otherwise, why are they cartoons? However, I just think it's important to just remain mindful about what your art could be doing or saying to others. But I also say that with understanding as an artist that your goal and your role in life is to not please everybody. So I don't really have a clear stance on this other than the fact that when you do draw and portray very beautiful characters, people will be reflecting back on themselves when they look at it. But simultaneously, I do also think that people should also learn to not be comparing themselves to cartoons or illustrations. And then the last ugly truth is that it can lead to a lack of experimentation with your art style. So as artists, it's important to explore and push your creative boundaries to discover your unique voice and style. And when you diversify the things you draw, you can explore various art styles and experiment with different drawing techniques. You can try out realism, abstraction, caricature, or any other artistic style that you might be interested in. And this not only expands your technical skills, but it also helps you develop a distinct artistic voice. So that's another one of the most common questions I always see in the art communities is, how do I find my voice? How do I find my style? How do I find this? I feel like the problem with drawing pretty girls sometimes is that there is a lot of just instant gratification from drawing something that is appealing, that you are very comfortable with, that you've done many times and you know that it works. However, a lot of the style finding or the finding your voice thing mostly comes from when you are experimenting and doing something totally different from what you are used to. So again, I used to only draw pretty anime girls during my teenage years, but once I knew I wanted to apply to CalArts to get a job in the animation industry as a storyboard artist, I had to totally just shift my portfolio and start drawing Western things, and I honestly despised drawing Western styles for the longest time, but I did grow an appreciation for it after starting to do it for my portfolio and understanding the thought processes of artists who are, you know, Disney veterans or people from the Renaissance era of Disney and animation shows and films. You start to kind of understand how other artists approach their work when you try out their styles, and after you have spent enough time exploring the styles of many different artists and many different things, you're you're starting to realize the little things you like about each bubble, and that is how your style is ultimately formed. I don't think that my current style, which is definitely a mixture of Western and anime and sometimes randomly experimental stuff, would have been discovered if I did not take this time to explore the Western animation style and if I only just stuck to anime only. So ultimately, while drawing pretty girls can be a fun and enjoyable hobby, and for some it can even lead to a career, I think it's still important for a lot of artists to still try to broaden their horizons and try to do other things so that they can overall improve themselves as an artist, especially for those who want to eventually land a career in some specific art path. But in general, I think that by broadening yourself as an artist, it will not only just open up more job opportunities for yourself, but it will really help you exponentially improve in certain areas that you're not originally used to in drawing. And you can also connect to a more diverse audience when you create characters that others can see themselves in. So that's pretty much all I have to say on the topic of drawing pretty girls. And if you don't know where to start with how to start making changes to improve your art or start getting outside of your comfort zone and you're afraid to do so, my first suggestion is to start a shit book, which is where you can pretty much just dump out all of your bad sketches in one place, so that this is the place for you to practice, grow, make mistakes, and try out new things without fear or shame of other people seeing work that you might not be ready to share. So if you want to check out videos like those, please check out my shit book videos. But if you also want to see the toxic things that I hate about the art community, check out this video. And on top of that, if you are interested in receiving email consultations or being a part of our exclusive community on Patreon, please check out my Patreon, where I will send you emails where I review your work or help you with any area of your art career that you want. There's only one spot left by the time that this video is being uploaded, but it's of course going to change over time, so keep checking on it if you are interested. Otherwise, thank you for watching this video and I appreciate your support. I'll see you in the next one.